section 7.5. In this section we are going to talk about transformational relations that can be used to distinguish or recognize the types of the elements of sentences or clauses. One way of distinguishing the various clause types is by means of transformational relations or relations of grammatical paraphrase. These transformational relations has an advantage which is distinguishing the various clause types. Clause containing a noun phrase, for example, the noun phrase as an object, are distinguished by their ability to convert it into passive clauses. So the object of this noun phrase assuming the function of subject. So if the subject is of the object of this clause can be converted or become or occupy the position of subjects in the form v passive verb phrase, the subject appearing if at all in an optional by phrase symbolized here as an a. So to take an example explaining whether the object can be the subject or the subject can be preceded by optional by, such as in this: many critics disliked the play. It is the structure S, which is the subject, many critics disliked is the verb, and object direct is the play, can be converted into the play was disliked. So the play is the object becomes or occupies the position of the subject, while many critics will be an optional element that can be put at the end of the sentence by many critics, taking the form of the structure of SV pass plus optional a. This is one. The second point is where the passive draws more attention to the result than the action itself or the agency. The resulting copula get can be added, replaces be, though chiefly in rather informal usage. This using get in sentences can be or be an indicator of informal type of speech or writing. The window was broken by my younger son. I know how the window got broken. So got is used in informal speech. A more gradually achieved result can be sometimes expressed by become. With the passage of time, the furniture became covered in dust. So using become here is one of the types of converting or using transformation relations. The following example illustrates the passive with other clause types, such as Queen Victoria considered him a genius. SVODCO, he was considered a genius by Queen Victoria. This form transforms into subject verb pass CS plus optional a. An intruder must have placed the ladder there can be transformed from this form into this form. My father gave me this watch. This sentence will be explained here. As type of SVOO clauses have two objects because we have direct and indirect object. They often have two passive forms. When we transform this sentence into the passive form, it will shapes or it can be transferred into two types. This one, my father gave me this watch. I was given this watch by my father, and this watch was given me or to me by my father. Have two passive forms as shown above, one in which the direct object becomes the subject, and another, which is the more common, in which the indirect object becomes subject. There is sometimes, this is another point, equivalence between types SV, SVC, and SVA, as is shown by occasional equivalences of the following kind. In this type, we are going to see SV can be transferred into SVCs. The baby is sleeping, the baby is asleep. So whether it is in the passive or in the active form, it has the same structure. Two loves will suffice, or two loves will suffice, two loves will be sufficient. So it is almost the same structure. SV into SVA, this is the second type. He hurried, he went fast. SVCS can be transformed to SVA. He is jobless. He is without a job. On the whole, English prefer to avoid the plain SV patterns where alternatives are available. This is a common type. It is English speakers or language user. You avoid the plain SVA pattern whenever there is an alternatives. إذن أعزائي الطلبة transformational relations ممكن تستخدم لبيان أو لتمييز recognize or distinguish the different clause types or their forms or even elements. يعني نقدر نعرف هذه التايبس الموجودة الكاينز مال السنتنس structure وأحيانا نميز الاليمنتس المختلفة لها. فمثلا إذا نجي إلى الباسف تحويلها من الأكتف إلى الباسف، من المبني إلى المعلوم إلى المبني للمجهول، نقدر نحدد منه أي التركيب الأصح الذي ممكن أنه يتلائم مع هذه الجملة أو هذه الكلوز أو السنتنس كتبت لأي صيغة من الصيغ من أنواع الجمل. كذلك ممكن نحدد الأوبجكت والسبجكت whether it is can occupy another position. يعني احنا نقدر نحدد المفعول به في الجملة عند تحويلها إلى المبني المجهول. هذا المفعول به ممكن أنه يصير فاعل أو لا، فإذا صار فاعل فهو noun هنا أو complement or object. ومنطينا أمثلة هنا، مثلا many critics dislike the play. هنا SVO ممكن تحويلها إلى the play اللي هي ال O أصبح S. was disliked فأيضا verb، واللي كانت subject سابقا في الجملة أصبحت optional element يرمز له ب A. كذلك يعطينا حالتين هنا أعزائي الطلبة، يوضح لنا حالتين. أول وحدة استخدام get، ويشير إلى أنه استخدام get هنا تستخدم أولا في الكلام الانفورمال usage، ثانيا تستخدم عندما يكون النتيجة أهم من الفاعل. يعني the window was broken by my younger son، هنا by my younger son is not important، المهم هي الحدث اللي صار. I know how the window got broken، أنا أعرف كيف كسرت. فما ممكن قد يشير إلى الفاعل يحذف الفاعل أما لعدم أهميته. وهذه طبعا الفانكشنز اللي أصلا للباسف أصلا هي، أو لأساليب أسلوبية stylistic reason. كذلك ممكن أنه نستخدم become هنا. ليش؟ لأنه a more gradually achieved result، يعني إحنا هنا شنو؟ لإظهار نتيجة تحدث بمرور الزمن. With the passage of time the furniture became covered in dust. فهنا became، إذا نرجع للجملة الأصلية اللي هي قد تكون بالمبني للمعلوم ممكن أنه تكون صياغتها مختلفة. أيضا يأخذنا الباسف هنا بأمثلة مختلفة حتى يبين لنا أنواع الجمل وكيفية تحولها. يعني SV O C، هذه السي ممكن تصير الأس هنا كما في هذه الجملة. تبقى الجملة الأخيرة أعزائي الطلبة، عندنا structure يكون عندنا two object اللي هو indirect و direct، فهنا ممكن لها صيغتين بالباسف voice كما موضح في هذا المثال. تبقى نقطة أخرى أعزائنا الطلبة، أنه there is sometimes equivalence between types. عندنا SV SVC SVA، ممكن أنه تكون نعطينا أمثلة. نأخذ مثال هنا، المثال SV the baby is sleeping the baby is asleep. فهنا اكو equivalence بالكلام، يعني هنا اكو subject هنا عندنا subject، هنا اكو verb وهنا اكو verb etc. كذلك SV SVA he hurried he went fast. on the whole بشكل عام المتكلمين اللغة الإنجليزية يتجنبون plain SV pattern ما إذا كان اكو option متاحة. لذلك نجد انه معظم الكلام English language users tend to use passive voice and other alternatives are whenever it is possible، مهما عندما يكون عندهم القدرة على تجنب plain SV structure.